A Postman Pat storybook collection, read aloud for kids. If you enjoy my videos, please consider subscribing, and why not share my videos with friends or family members. Postman Pat's Cat Up a Tree Party. It was a sunny day in spring. They were all in the garden. Pat was having a cup of tea. Julian was playing on his bike, and Sarah was mending her puncture. Meow, meow. That must be Jess. But where is he? Pat looked everywhere, but he couldn't see Jess. Meow, meow. Jess, Jess, called Pat. Can anyone see Jess? I can hear him, but I can't see him. Meow, meow, went Jess, as they all looked for him. He's up there, said Julian. Where? Said Pat. In the sky, said Julian. He must be flying after the birds, said Sarah. Look, there he is. High up in the fir tree, they could just see Jess clinging to a branch. Jess, what are you doing up there? Pat said. Are you playing at being a squirrel? Come on down, and you can have a saucer of cream. But Jess stayed where he was, and he meowed so sadly. Poor Jess, said Julian. What's wrong? I don't think he can get down, said Sarah. I think he's stuck. Can you climb up and bring him down? Said Julian. Pat tried to climb the pine tree, but the branches were so close together that he couldn't even begin. And all the time Jess was meowing that he wanted to come down. Sarah brought a chair out, and Pat stood on it to reach up for Jess, but Jess was too far away. Sarah brought a table out. Pat put the chair on the table and held everything steady, and Sarah climbed up. The table began to wobble, and Sarah grabbed at the tree and made the tree shake. Jess went further up the tree. Sarah jumped down, and now she went all wobbly, and she had to sit down with a cup of tea till she felt better. We shouldn't climb up on chairs and tables, she said. We could have a nasty accident. I don't know why he doesn't just turn around and come back down, said Pat. It's odd, said Sarah. Cats are marvellous at going up trees, but hopeless at coming down them again. It just seems that they can't do it. It's a wonder that all trees aren't full of cats. Dr. Gilbenson stopped to see what they were all doing. What are we going to do? Said Pat. About getting Jess down. He can't stay up there forever. I'll soon think of a remedy, said the doctor. Now, let's see. I'll need a box and a long stick and some string and nails and some cat food. Now, I think I can lay my hands on a good long stick, said Pat. And we have plenty of boxes and string. Dr. Gilbenson fixed a box to the end of the stick and put some cat food in it. There you are, she said. That should do it. The patient should be down and about in no time at all. All we have to do is hold the box up on the end of the stick. Jess will smell the food, jump into the box, and we will lower him safely to the ground. Dr. Gilbertson poked the box up into the tree. Jess looked at it, meowed, but did not move. You try, Pat, said the doctor. Pat pushed the box high into the tree, and they all looked at Jess. Come on, Jess. Come on, Puss. Get in the box, Jess. You'll be all right. Come on then, Jess. Jess did not move. The Reverend Timms called with the parish magazine. Are you having a garden party? Said the Reverend. What's Jess doing up there? Just sitting there, said Sarah. You could call it a cat up a tree party. A new kind. You see, Reverend, Jess is stuck up the tree, and Dr. kindly stopped to help. But her idea isn't working. Jess just won't get in the box. Well, no, I don't think I'd get in a box on the end of a stick if I were Jess, said the Reverend. Would you? I'm afraid the Bible says a little about cats, and nothing as far as I know about cats in trees. Now there was a sound of a tractor. It was Peter Fogg. He stopped to join in. They told him about Jess, and he had a good look. Come on down, you silly cat, he said. But it did no good. I know, he said. I'll get him down with my tractor. How? Said Sarah. It should be easy, said Peter. I'll put my digger as high as it can go. Then I'll drive up to your hedge with the bucket as near to the tree as I can get it. Then Jess can jump in, and I can lower him to the ground. He wouldn't jump into a box on the end of a stick, said Dr. Gilbertson. And how's that cough of yours? Oh, it's a lot better, thanks, Doctor, said Peter. But a tractor bucket is different from a box. It's a lot bigger, for one thing. It's worth a try, I suppose, said the doctor. Stand back, everyone. We're going to try again. There was a roar as the tractor started up, and they all saw the large bucket coming over the hedge. Jess had such a fright when he saw it that he went still further up the tree. Pat shouted, Stop, Peter, stop! But the engine was making such a noise that Peter did not hear him. There was a great crunching and grinding sound, and the tractor came right through the hedge. Oh dear, what a mess there was! What happened? Shouted Sarah. Oh, I am sorry, said Peter. I was so busy watching Jess and the tree that I forgot that there was a hedge in the way. Just then, Mrs. Pottage and the twins came along. Don't worry about the hedge, said Mrs. Pottage. We have plenty of spare fencing posts in our barn. Peter can bring them round tomorrow and mend that hole. The cat in the tree party was getting bigger and bigger. Mrs. Goggins came next, then Alf and Dorothy Thompson. Pat dashed indoors to get the best tea service out, and Sarah brewed more tea. Julian brought out the sugar basin, and Katie and Tom helped him to hand biscuits around. George Lancaster came with 24 eggs, and Miss Hubbard, passing on the way to the church to arrange the flowers, stopped to see what was going on. Not one of them could think of a way to get Jess down from the tree. We'll soon have all Greendale in our garden, said Sarah. It's a good thing this doesn't happen every day. We'd never have enough biscuits to go around. Then Ted arrived, and they were all talking at once. Then Granny Dryden walked up to the garden path. She banged her stick on the path and stopped them all in their tracks. Whatever is going on? She said. Well, it's Jess, you see, Pat began. Do sit down and have a cup of tea and a cake, said Sarah. Thank you very much, said Granny Dryden. Where's Jess? I haven't seen him today at all. Jess is up in that tree, said Sarah, and he's stuck, and we have all been trying to get him down. Trying to get him down? Keeping him up there more like. Poor Jess, up in that tree all this time. Granny Dryden sounded cross. We've tried our best to get him down, said Pat. Honestly, Granny Dryden, we have done our best. But Ted's going to get a ladder, and we'll soon have Jess down. That's too high for any ladder, said Granny Dryden. But if you all do what I say, he'll soon be down, and you won't need any ladder. Can you get him down, Granny Dryden? Said Mrs. Goggins, astonished. Of course I can, said Granny Dryden, rather sharply. I've seen cats up a tree before any of you were born. It's an old tale, that one about cats not being able to get down from trees. It's just folks making a fuss and a stare that get them into a state, and they just won't come down then. If you all go home and get your tea, Jess will come down in his own good time. You'll see. It's the wisdom of age, said the Reverend Timms. I think we should all try taking Granny Dryden's advice. God works in mysterious ways. "It's just common sense," said Granny Dryden. "That's all. Away you go home, every last one of you, and you'll see that I'm right." One by one they all went home. "I'll stay and help with the washing up," said Granny Dryden. "You must have a right bonny pile of it." The birds did not like it a bit, having a cat up in their tree, but it was much quieter now everyone had gone, and Jess was beginning to feel rather hungry. He thought that he might just try his claws to see if they would hold him going backwards. He got down one branch. There was more tumbling in it than climbing, and this was a very scratchy tree. Down another branch. Ouch! It was also a prickly tree. Another branch. Slowly, very slowly, Jess was working his way down the tree. In the house, Sarah was saying, "I hope our Jess is all right. Do you think I should pop out and see how he's getting on?" But Granny Dryden said, "Certainly not. He will get on much better without anyone fussing around him. You'll see. He's a clever cat. We had a cat like Jess when I was a young lass. It would have been his great-granddad. He was always going up trees. I remember once." And Granny Dryden told them a story of long ago. All this time, Julian was hiding behind the curtains, peeping out into the garden. He couldn't see Jess, but he could see the tree shaking as Jess tumbled his way down it. The shaking came closer and closer to the ground. At last, a very rumpled cat jumped from the lowest branch onto the grass and ran to the house to scratch at the door to be let in. And oh, what a fuss they all made of him. "There you are," said Granny Dryden. "I told you he could do it. Good old Jess, just like his great-granddad. Clever Jess." Jess jumped on her knee and she cuddled him and stroked him, and soon he began to purr. "Look at his fur," said Pat. "He looks as though he's been through a hedge, backwards." "He's done better," said Julian. "He's been through a tree backwards." The tree had rubbed his fur the wrong way. It was sticking out in all directions, and it was full of pine needles that itched and prickled. "Oh, poor Jess," said Sarah. "He looks like an unmade bed. He needs a good brushing. That'll get the needles out, and then he'll feel a lot better. Won't you, Jess?" Jess didn't like being brushed, but it did get the needles out, and he did feel better. Well enough indeed to go looking for mice after tea in Mrs. Pottage's barn. But it was a long time, a very long time, before he climbed a tree again. The end. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again here at the ABC Storytime.